We'll be talking about how we
I
we
am
finally had that
Yeah, I think
conversation.
exactly. It's just like that big elephant.
That
That big
conversation
elephant
that
was in the room.
lingered for years.
Exactly.
Just I was planning my life,
I know.
by myself.
I know.
He
She
was
like
planning his life.
lone sojourner, right?
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
decision to
But I can tell you, when we were about making this decision, we realized that we could not do it all by ourselves.
yes.
Despite being friends for over years,
Oh my God.
it's like that big elephant in the room, right?
Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome to our channel again. So thank you so much for following our story, and we are so happy to share these stories with you.
That's
because it has been a beautiful journey in our lives.
And we can only share these things with gratefulness.
Yes.
We are grateful to God for such a journey. And that doesn't mean it hasn't been without challenges. We had challenges. However, with God, everything is possible.
And we chose earlier to always focus on the positive
things.
side of our journey.
Exactly.
The positive, but that doesn't mean we neglect the negativity that came along.
Yeah.
But we just learn from that
And
and just
move
really
forward.
focus on positive and being thankful
That's
for
right.
where we are now. So thank you so much for your support, your comments, your likes, and subscribing. We are so grateful. And it's really motivating us
It
to
has.
continue sharing our stories with you.
Absolutely.
Yes. So in today's video,
Absolutely.
we'll be talking about how we finally decided to be more serious with ourselves.
Yeah, I think today what we intend to talk about is when we made the decision to migrate from the friendship zone, the friendship zone that I told you about. I told you guys I was going to flip things, but of course I wasn't doing it by my strength. It is not by the strength, it's by might, it is by the Spirit of the Most High God. So it was by the favor of God.
Yes.
And then things got better. So it was after the Christmas and after her birthday, and with all those things going around, we finally came to an agreement and said, look, we are so much into each other's life that we feel like we occupy very important space in our life, in each other's life. So since we occupy very important space in each other's life, right?
Yes.
And of course, she knew at that point in time, she knew my stand.
Yes.
She
no
knew
more
that
playing around.
Yeah, there was no more cat and cat and mouse stories. She wasn't running around and trying to
Let's be serious.
Let's be serious.
We're adults.
Yeah, I was like, see, you are an adult.
We finally had that conversation.
Yeah, I think exactly. It's just like that big elephant.
That
big elephant
that
was in the room.
lingered for years.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
It's like that big elephant in the room, right? And we were all neglecting it and ignoring to talk and refusing to talk about it. And it was about time. So it was after that special Christmas, our first Christmas together as friends. Now we sat down, we said, look, we are so much into each other's life and we need to take things very serious.
And it didn't happen like immediately after the Christmas.
No, not after.
Things came along, things happened. But it was a determining factor.
I agree.
The whole thing. It was just a huge moment
That's
for
true.
us.
Yeah.
And that really built on the things that we noticed we couldn't stay without.
Exactly.
So came the
The
decision.
decision. Yeah. So it was about time we make the decision regarding our friendship, migrating it from ordinary friendship into people or individuals who are actually dating into real, dating
Like, and
couples.
start really planning our future
Exactly.
together. Because up until then, I was planning my life,
I know.
by myself.
I know.
He was
like
planning his life.
lone sojourner, right?
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
decision to come together and begin to really consider the decisions we are making. Okay, so you're making the step. How do I fit in?
That's right.
So it just became more important to each other.
Yeah, I agree. And it was at that
I'm
moment.
actually reliving those moments. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we are there.
I remember those
But
moments.
I can't go back, because if we go back, like the things we already have now, we're going to lose.
Exactly.
And we don't want to lose
there's
that.
a lot we already have together. So, and that's really is a huge blessing, and we are grateful to God.
Yes.
But I can tell you, when we were about making this decision, we realized that we could not do it all by ourselves.
Yes.
We, despite being friends for over years, for several years, many years, but we thought there was still that need to involve something bigger than both of us.
Us, yes.
And it was at this point, coming from very spiritual Christian background, we thought, what else do we know that is bigger than both of us? And we thought, okay, hey, we needed to put it into fasting.
Yes.
So the decision, we could not have made it on our own without fasting. So we went into
Yeah,
fasting.
we decided to fast.
And pray about it.
We agreed on the duration,
The duration, yep.
the length on a daily.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that we both just,
Had that kind of agreement.
Agreed,
Yeah, we
yes.
agreed. Without any objection.
and I was, to be honest,
Yeah.
worried about you.
She thought I couldn't fast. Can you imagine?
I was so worried. I'm like, okay, this guy, like,
How is he going to hold it?
Yes.
How he might eat food along the way, before the day closes. But
and surprisingly, he told me that
it
this
was
is something he does.
like,
easy.
I told him many times, that's the easiest thing to do for me. I can
Then
stay.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing for me to do. From my perspective and understanding and trying to, spiritual point, I feel like fasting is not about the, not eating, not drinking, not but rather it's about that purity of mental and spiritual state. Trying to keep your mind, your thoughts, your heart, the meditation of your mind and heart in a pure state, or in a or focusing on God, other than like material things, vanity, or things that are pornographic content.
Or saving your food for
Or saving your
when you
food.
break your fast, so
Nah.
you go and
And then take it. Yeah, I remember when we used to be in school. Things like that happen. You fast. People will fast and then save the food for very lunch. They'll save breakfast, save dinner, and consume it all at once.
So I think the intention really matters.
Yes, it does.
The intention will
Yes.
help you through the process.
Exactly.
It was such a beautiful thing, because I knew certain parts about you, certain things about you, but I hadn't, known this fasting and praying
Prayer.
part of you yet at
Yeah.
that point. So it was something that I was so thankful for.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
And I was quite very
He's
happy about
actually
it too.
doing this.
Yeah,
And we
because
went through it sincerely.
absolutely.
Every day at the end of the day, we would pray together over the phone.
Yes.
And on the last day,
Yeah.
remember, we
Right.
met
Yeah, we did. That's true.
at the city center.
Yeah, we did. To break the fast and then do our final
complete,
prayers. Yes, to complete the fasting. And I think it was a very beautiful moment, especially
was.
for two to come together and agree in the spirit for a purpose, to go on a journey, to go through self-endurance and self-cleansing,
Yes.
to ask for the mind of God. But we did not know, were we making these decisions out of human decisions, or we're
Yes.
making them out of destiny or spiritual point.
And we're just asking God for His will
That's
to
all
be done.
yes,
Like
that's
we
all we
didn't
pray
pray
about.
much. We just like, Father, may Your will be done.
We don't know much. All
Yes.
we know is that let Your will be done in our lives. If we are meant to be together, Father,
Let
Your
nothing come between that.
Exactly.
And He answered
And God, He responded in a
loudly.
very, oh goodness, in a very powerful way that it's inevitable. You cannot ignore
You
it.
can't deny it.
You can't deny. Yes, it was
Yes.
very clear.
Yes.
Because even on the last day, we came together, we prayed, and it naturally looked like as if our relationship had kicked off. Unspoken, but it looks like we agreed in the spirit that the relationship had taken off or taken effect. And at this point in time, we realized the power of prayer, the power of coming together. And it's said in the scriptures, when two come together and agree and call upon the name of God on earth here, so it is in heaven. And I do believe whatever we agreed on and fasted and went through that process, it was acceptable. It was accepted on the side of God. And God accepted our prayers.
So we wanted clarity
Exactly.
regarding our relationship.
Yeah.
What we had as friends. We wanted clarity as to whether or not it was meant to progress to something other than just friends.
Yeah.
And we received that
clarity. We did.
We
We
did
did.
receive that
That's true.
clarity. And it became undeniable.
I agree. And to be frank, I think I have to give you credit because she actually brought up this fasting thing, and I agree with her, and because it was
It's
really
God
good.
that led us
Because
through
at that point in
part.
time, I thought I knew what I wanted, if this was the right thing, and she wanted to involve God, and I came on board as, look, I'm a Christian too. Let's do it. I may actually be looking for something that's not meant for me, but if it's meant for me, going through this process would even bring more clarity. And when we went through it, God revealed Himself in a
Yes.
very big way.
I think we were both led by
Yeah.
God to do that.
Absolutely.
And this is not something you go about your life asking every guy, oh, pray, let's pray.
No.
Like you don't do, you're just special and you're the only one that, have had to go through that. I've had to go through that with.
Yeah.
And it's because
Similar,
of the special.
me as well. You are the only one I've had to hold hands and, in oneness
Yeah,
or
we
in
always
agreement in the spirit
prayed
and pray.
then, yes.
Yeah.
And that's really special.
Yes, it is.
Because marriage is beautiful, but it has a lot of enemies from the kingdom of darkness, obviously.
Yes.
So if you are able to find your partner who can hold hands with you, okay, imagine yourself being in a boat and the boat is just going through
A lot of
stormy,
turbulence.
yes,
Yeah.
and someone in that boat with you is holding hands with you and just praying.
Yeah.
That's priceless.
Yes. It
Like
is.
it's just
It gives you that kind of hope that you're not in that situation alone.
and
You're with someone else.
fighting
Yes.
and believing.
Absolutely.
And this is what that whole process proved
Yes, it did.
to us.
I must say that process changed our life, and it is something I started asking myself when I think about it every time. I ask myself, how many times do we as a generation or as a people, especially like men, for instance, when we want to begin a relationship with a woman, say, hey, let's fast about it and seek the mind of God in this issue. And I think it is at this point I would, and it create your indulgence that in every situation, take it to the Lord in prayer.
He never fails.
He never fails.
You may go through confusion, but He will
His
show
word
up.
remains the same.
He will show up.
I agree.
And He will not allow you to settle in a confusion, like in a confusing thing.
That's
Or
right.
He will not allow you settle for confusion.
And it is very important for us to also mention that in the process of listening or going through this spiritual process, or listening, praying, and asking for the will of God to be done, you have to pay attention to the positive voice, the silent positive voice of God. Too often people are going through prayers and they are thinking or they are hearing, because of the human flesh, we tend to be a bit greedy. There's a tendency to be listening to the other side of, no, that's my woman, I don't even need to pray much about it. But God may be speaking even in a silent but very loud. It may sound very confusing to you, but I just mean the devil will keep speaking more and more into you. Oh no, that's your woman, you should go get, you should even take her to bed. But you have to listen to the voice of God, and that will help you make those decisions, because you don't want to go through the process without listening to the voice of God. And when you are done with the prayers, you're like, oh, God didn't answer my prayers. No, He was speaking, not His problem. He was speaking.
Yes.
You weren't listening. And it is important to keep your mind, ears, heart, soul focused on God, and you would hear the voice of God concerning the matter you pray about. And it's something that I'm so privileged to have gone through it, and I testify to the results that came out of it, and I'm still enjoying the fruits of those things till today. Many were the times that when I went into relationship, I never even prayed about it. I never even asked the mind of God on the issue. I just did it out of my human will, and it never went anywhere. It didn't go anywhere because that wasn't the will of God. When I was about going into relationship with my wife, at the time when we were friends,
Yes.
we said there was nothing attached. We're just friends. We said, okay, let's pray about this. But in the process of praying about this, let's fast.
Yes.
And in the process of fasting, God revealed Himself in a big way.
I think at that point in our lives, like we've come to a place where we were not ready to make mistakes anymore.
Yes.
Or to just play around. Like,
I think we had made enough mistakes.
Yes.
It wasn't about time to say, okay, let's try an error kind of thing.
Try. Like, this is serious. If it's not meant to happen, we don't
want
to
to waste each other's time.
Yes.
We just want to, and we don't want to ruin the friendship as well. Because quite often people, as a generation, we don't pray about certain things. Go into certain relationship, maybe the person was your best friend, and now when it doesn't work out, the person turns out to become your enemy.
Yes.
So you've lost that friendship. But if you pray about it, and then the will of God is revealed, then if the will of God says, okay, don't go into this relationship, or it's not meant to be, then you can still remain as friends. You see? And you move on your life.
Yes.
However, when we don't do that and we use our human will, thinking that love is by might or by strength, we fail.
Absolutely.
This earth is not by strength. It's not for the swift. It is by the Spirit of God, or the wisdom of God, or wisdom that cometh from God. Yeah, so we are grateful to be sharing our stories with you. And today was about the decision. And the decision was something we had to make many years back, especially when we wanted to begin our actual love story.
Just to start planning towards our lives. Now planning things together.
That was the moment when God flipped things in my favor. When her friend Zoni had expired, and now it was time for me to take over. God said, my son, take over. I give to you. And since then, I've never looked back.
I have not looked back.
And we are here together. All right. So that was about the decision, and this was a very important moment in our life, and we're happy to share with you. And we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.